weight loss and oily stools, the symptoms just don't go away.
But EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news?
Start catching up with it.
But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms.
Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor.
That's that auxiliary number, right?
Nationally ranked Navy and Kansas State will meet for the first time ever at this year's AutoZone Liberty Bowl, and you'll want to be there as well. Plus, American Idol winner, country music star Scotty McCreery will perform at halftime. It's all happening December 31st at 2:45 in the afternoon. Get your tickets today by calling the AutoZone Liberty Bowl
Campbell
at
Clinic today was far me for inside Hoop City.
Tennessee Highway Safety Office
but I'll do
reminds you that fans don't let fans drive drunk.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Twin broadcasting stations.
Let's get you up.
It's time to go inside Hoop City with Grizzlies radio analyst Elliot Perry. Inside Hoop City is sponsored by Campbell Clinic. Each Thursday, the former Tiger great and 10-year NBA player joins Sportstime with Wolo and Stats to talk Tigers and Grizzlies and all things Hoop City. Now, here's Elliot Perry with Wolo and Stats.
It is always a pleasure to talk to our friend EP, Elliot Perry. We're at Family Leisure, by the way, and a reminder, we're here till 6. We've told you about all the auction items, but if you've got toys, please bring them. If you've got cash, please bring it. We've already had a bunch of people do that. We've had friends come by, and like they do every year, they are so generous. They open up their hearts. They open up their pocketbooks. They leave checks. We make sure that this is going to be a great holiday for so many different kids. And so we urge you, please, please, please come by and say hi and bring something for the kids. Last night, so much fun watching that trio that we're going to be watching, I hope, for a long, long time. John Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. and Brandon Clark, and they won for the 8th time this year. A very nice victory against a good team in Phoenix that is starting to come on, but they win on the road. These Grizzlies do again, and we go inside Hoop City with our friend Elliot Perry. I want you to go back to when you were playing. I want you to think about all of the rookies that you have seen from when you were in college all the way to now. And sort of tell me where you think you would place Ja Morant. Good afternoon.
Yeah, how you doing, Dave? I mean, I think he has to be right there at the top. I mean, you go back to some guys who came in the league that really set the league on fire. Obviously, Allen Iverson, and maybe somebody like Stephon Marbury who came in, and both of those guys got off to a really, really good start.
Kevin Garnett.
Yeah, I mean, it took KG a little time, but KG, finally figured it out. Yeah, it's hard to say who came right in the league and really felt like they belonged in the league. I mean, he's still playing at a really, really high level like he did in high school. I mean, like he did in college, and all the questions were asked. Because he went to Murray State, would he come in and again be able to play at that level with this kind of caliber of talent? And he's shown that he's a special player.
Well, and he put on a show last night, and he has all year, but we're already told officially from the Grizzlies PR that he will be not playing tomorrow night, more maintenance. I just think to build Ja fans, to build Grizzlies fans, I'd like to see him play more, and especially at home.
Yeah, I think selfishly we all would love to see him play, and particularly at home. So, but if it continues to grow our fan base, if people want to come out, because I think he's one of those box office guys. If you're on the road, people are going to come to the game because they want to see Ja, and if he's at home, our home fans particularly want to see him, and they're going to come to the games for that. And so, that's something I haven't heard, but it's unfortunate, but I understand like I said before, when we had our last conversations, that the whole maintenance piece is going to be a norm at some point.
It is, and I hate to say this, but the league made a rule, and part of the reason they made that rule was that the Cleveland Cavaliers, when they had their big three, They didn't bring any of the big three to Memphis, and it was right around
this time
Christmas.
of year.
It was. And all these people had bought for Christmas presents tickets to that game, and the big three, LeBron and Dwayne Wade, and I guess it was Kevin. Was it Kyrie Irving?
It was in Cleveland.
Yeah.
Kyrie and Kevin Love.
And Kevin Love.
It was a back-to-back game, yeah.
Right, all three didn't even make the trip. So they changed the rule, and they said, okay, if you're going to do this, unless the guy's injured, you can't do it for road games because you're only going to play in that place once or twice a year. So they changed that rule, and now it's the hometown team. So now, in this case, all load management for Clark or for Ja or for Jaren or for anybody for that matter is going to take place at home. So if you bought tickets, you're going to probably see Giannis tomorrow, but you're not going to see Ja, and was it Clark too that was also in there? So you're going to miss two of the three rookies that you want to see, but you will see Jaren go up against Giannis a little bit with Valanciunas helping him out. But you know, I guess this is the new thing, and it's all about longevity. And I guess to me, and we may have talked on this a little bit last week, Elliot, but it says to me the league has to do something about cutting the length of the regular season. And if they do that with an in-season tournament and all the other things I think they're very seriously looking at, they need to do it because it's crazy when you're going to miss all these games.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the league, they are in talks about, cutting the season a little bit short. I mean, I think it's if I'm not mistaken, it's 78 games. So, I mean, that's not a ton of games. I still think you'll see a lot of this happening even when they cut it down to 78 games. But I just think that, overall, something that's new, particularly for some of us old school guys, is we want to see guys play. And as old school players, you want to play, but again, I understand the whole maintenance piece. I understand that you want to make sure that you give guys proper rest. You want to for longevity. So I think if the league does make some of those adjustments, I don't think this is going to stop.
Elliot, the Grizzlies are really in a tough spot. They're not in a go for it spot even for an eighth. They're not going. I just don't think they're going to make the playoffs this year. But they could win too much to get out of one of those primo spots for the lottery next year, and they're going to have to, as we talked about, they're going to have to really bite the bullet and have some of those sacrifice games at home when you're trying to build fans.
Yeah, I think they're thinking more. Again, I think they're thinking more holistic stats in terms of not wins and losses, or where they're going to place in the lottery or things like that. Because we seen last year that we were slated to be right in that 8th spot in the lottery and jumped up to 2 and got probably one of the top players in the league. I think this is more about against establishing themselves, building culture, making sure that you're developing your players, making sure that your coaching staff understands that we're all on the same page, from front office all the way down to the trainers. All of those things. I think Coach Jenkins has really done a good job, along with the front office, of really kind of setting the tone for what we're going to be, and then what kind of identity we'll have going forward.
This takes a lot of patience, though, by them to stick with it, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it takes some patience. I mean, that's with anything. But the good part about it is we did get lucky. We got the number 2 pick. We got Ja. So even though we don't want to fast forward this thing and try to get into the playoffs in the next couple of years or next year or so, we do see that we have a good foundation to build on. We have, a couple of guys, possibly 3 guys or 4, that are going to be with this team for the long haul. That fits into the ethos of what we're trying to build. And I mean, you can see that hope is there and optimism is there.
There was a really nice story last night too, right before the Grizzlies game, and I enjoyed watching Memphis play last night because those 3 guys get me going, and I want to throw Dylan Brooks in there too. But before that game, Kawhi got a ring in Toronto before that game, his visit there. And I thought, because this crowd could have been upset, Kawhi got them that ring but then left. They were really classy. There were chants of MVP. I don't know how many times you got to play in Toronto, Elliot, but that really kind of almost brought tears to my eyes last night. Yeah,
I played in Toronto a lot. It's one of my favorite places to go. a fantastic crowd, fan base there. They treat you well. But I don't think they have anything to be sore about. I mean, if any one of us could make that trade-off, if you say, hey, you give me Kawhi Leonard or you give me any one of the star players for a year, and you're guaranteeing me, even though they were not guaranteed, but you're guaranteeing me a championship, and he made both the next year, I'll take that any day.
I take it right now for the Grizzlies this year. I'd sign up for it
right now. Yeah, this year.
Do you worry at all about Jaren and foul trouble? Because there's one or two silly ones per game. Some he's going to get some of these calls later in his career because we know he's still a youngster. But if I were going to complain about Jaren, that I think is where I go. Is you've got to learn how to play better defense without fouling.
Yeah, and I think he's getting better at it. I mean, he's not getting as many at least on this road trip, he didn't get as many ticky-tack fouls as he's been getting. He's probably been getting 2 and possibly 3, just really ticky-tack fouls that puts him on the bench for extended periods of time. But, I think 2 things. I think, one, refs are going to start to learn, how he plays, and he's going to have to earn a lot of that equity from the refs. And then secondly, he's going to have to learn how to advocate for himself too. So being able to really talk to referees and being able to, understand
lobby.
What they want and what they see. Yeah, lobbying for his own sake. And I think that comes with maturation and growth.
And just learning how to play at that elite level. Saturday afternoon in Knoxville, a big one for the Tigers as they play Tennessee, looking for revenge from last year. The Tigers are really getting better in the absence of 2 big pieces.
Yeah, playing really well. I mean, I think this is one of those kind of, opportunities for